Hey everyone, Lazy Panda here. This story time is an interesting one. This is about the first time I actually encountered a Karen in person. Now, usually I would see Karens and such through the media, through YouTube and such. I would see compilations and YouTubers react to them, but they became very popular over COVID because that was just their time. That was the time that they were going out of their, period of absence, and they came out and shined through so hard. And I thought it simmered down after that. Of course, there was still trails of it. It wasn't completely gone. And this is unfortunately the result of that. But if you guys are curious and you like this story time, there will be plenty of these. There's a playlist of these. Anyways, let's dive on in. So this story time takes place about a week ago now. It hasn't been that long. It's only been a week ago. And this is one of the normal days that I would have. And at this point, I just came back from a trip from Florida because of family birthdays and all that. So I was feeling good. I was energetic. The sun was actually finally coming out. I was actually enjoying myself and I was actually having a good time and just ready to, just to enjoy whatever was going on. And up to this day, everything was fine. I felt very great about myself. I was very content. I was having a good time and there were no problems for me up to this point. And so on this day, everything was normal. What I would do is I would wake up, eat breakfast, get in my car, pick up my buddy, and go to school. And that's it. Nothing too hard, nothing too complicated. So we have 7 classes, and we usually drop one per day, depending on what day it is. And my schedule works with where my last period is my study. And so that means I actually get to leave an hour early before everyone else, which is the biggest clutch ever. I really gotta tell you, if you guys can do that, you have to do it. That is actually the best thing I ever did. But anyways, this was one of my normal days. And then I was asked, hey, can you by any chance drop me off at home after when school's out? I was like, sure, okay. And so I actually had to do this for 2 people. Luckily, he had a study period the same time as me. So we got to leave early and I got to take him home. No problem whatsoever. We chit-chatted a little bit, but it was fine overall. And then I came back, and that's when everybody else was there. It became so incredibly annoying and awful, let me tell you. So I was waiting and waiting because there was still 5 minutes left before the school actually ended and all the kids were coming out. And so I was waiting, and then finally the bell rung, and everybody just left. Everybody was trying to get out of that building as soon as possible. They were treating it like it was a Friday, but it wasn't. It was just a regular weekday. And that's one of the things I don't like either, is that everybody's trying to run through the cars. Everybody's just trying to pass through, and they just cut corners so fast that you won't even be able to catch them. And so because of this, I would try to drive carefully, but I'm not trying to slow everybody else down and only go 2 miles per hour. So I would actually be consistent with the other drivers. Having that being said though, I would still go at a decent pace so I didn't run anybody over by accident or get into some, problem with another student just in case they thought I was trying to run them over. Because unfortunately, a lot of the kids there will find a problem and cause it and make it a bigger deal than it needs to be, because that's just the reality of it. And up to this point, it was fine. My other buddy actually was right there, came into the car, and we were trying to dip. But while waiting, all the other students that had cars were getting into the line and leaving the school parking lot. And this is a lot of students because it's not only seniors but some juniors as well, even though there's actually a lot of us seniors. And it was fine. I was already prepared to be annoyed at the fact that we were going to go 2 miles per hour because everybody's trying to cut each other off, almost cause accidents because they needed to leave. All the time, everybody is so impatient and ready to just attack each other and hit each other just so they can get one car ahead of the other. And I'm waiting in this line and I'm putting my music on and I'm trying to vibe out. All of a sudden, I hear this honking. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Usually people honk at each other during the parking lot. There's 2 lines usually. I was in one, and I thought maybe it was the other. Maybe somebody was trying to back out too soon and somebody got annoyed. Maybe something as simple as that because it's happened before. And then I heard it again, and I was like, oh, maybe that's the car behind the one that's behind me, because I was like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was driving normally. I was waiting in line with everybody else. And I kept thinking that would be the end of it. Then all of a sudden, honk, 3 seconds. Honk, 3 seconds, honk. It wouldn't stop for some reason. It would keep going and going. And I turn around and I'm thinking what is going on? So I turn around. All of a sudden, this lady is saying something while in her car. She's not speaking to me exactly. She's trying to, but she has her window up and everything. And I was very confused on what she was trying to say or do. So I was just ignoring it for the most part. And for 10 minutes, because again, this parking lot can be this bad. for 10 minutes. She kept honking and honking and honking. And I didn't want to cause a scene or anything, especially with all the students around, but it was getting to a point, and then all of a sudden she rolled down her window and started saying something. And she just kept yelling and yelling. And dude, finally I gave in. I rolled down my window and I yelled out, I said, "What?" Because everybody else was so loud with their own honking, whether it was something serious or not. And all the other conversations that were actually taking place at the same time with the other students around us. And just the cars in general, because obviously. So I had to yell and be like, "What?" And she's like, "You're edging the road." What the hell does edging the road even mean? Because I'm not doing anything different from the car in front of me. But she then continues and says, "This isn't a concert. You can go ahead." And with the most control I could do, all I said was, "Shut the hell up." And then I rolled my window up and pretended just like she wasn't there. And after that, she kept honking and honking and honking. It almost felt like it was never going to end. I don't know what this lady's deal was. I tried to put it in the best terms I could, saying, oh, maybe she was having a bad day. She also had a cross-guard jacket on her passenger seat. So I was like, okay, maybe she was dealing with some annoying people during that time. I don't know. I was trying to give her the benefit of a doubt. And then she decides to kind of like look down on her steering wheel. I couldn't really see well because she had her sunglasses on, but I think she was just trying to write down my license plate. I was like, it's totally fine because there's cameras out here. I was ready to go to our advisor and be like, pull up the cans if it had to be something bigger than that, because I didn't do anything wrong. And genuinely, I thought something was wrong with my car when I was asking, like, what was going on? But no, it's just her being like, it's not a concert. You can go ahead, blah, 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 blah. And then finally we get to a certain turn and we get out of that line. So now it's just one. And while I'm doing that, she's holding up the rest of the cars. She's waiting there for a good 10 seconds. And remember, there's still students crossing by us, between us even, because there's so much of a gap now. And then she rushed. She went 30 in about like 2 seconds and almost hit my car so fast. And I was like, yo, are you kidding me right now? And she did that like 2 times, 3 times even, because once we actually turned into one line, because we were going through the main entrance instead of the back, because I thought I could avoid her that way. I was wrong. And so she kept doing the same thing. She kept following us, or at least I assumed. And up to this point, I actually started recording myself for my safety, just in case if something were to go wrong. And so, just in case you try to fabricate the story, because you know how Karens are. They'll say the craziest things. You've seen the clips of them saying like, oh, he ran me over, when literally he's just moving his car like 2 miles per hour. And so I'm recording for my safety. I say the license plate number so that I can get that just in case, and just to know I'm not crazy, just in case if it has to go to something bigger than that. And I'm waiting and waiting. And finally, we actually took a turn, and we were going to one of those lanes where it's the left only. So we went into there, and then there was still the one that we just came off of, and the lady sped past us so fast I almost didn't even see her. I just heard her engine roar as she left. It was insane. And then with all the adrenaline built up in me, I was like, I don't want to say I wasn't aware, but I was so like surprised and just freaked out because I thought something was going to happen, or something was going to escalate, or at least some type of consequence was going to happen because of this encounter. And while driving, I was trying to take this shortcut to take my buddy home. And then all of a sudden, I hit these cones. And I'm thinking, oh, great, I hit these cones. I'm just going to put them back. Then I see an officer up the hill of where I'm trying to go. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. That's fantastic. I just hit cones in front of a cop. Great, this is fine. And I did this in front of somebody. This is just fantastic. So I pulled over and I come out and I apologize to the officer. I'm like, officer, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit those cones. And this was a construction officer, so he was just making sure that the construction was going smoothly and nobody was trying to give them problems. And so I came out and I was like, I'm so sorry, officer. I didn't mean to hit those cones. I gave him a sum up of what just happened before that. And he was like, oh, I didn't even see you guys hit those cones, but I'm glad that, you came back for them. And luckily he was that nice to me. He was chill, he was smiling, he was having a good time and everything, but I was there helping him because I felt bad. Then after that, we said our goodbyes and we went on our merry ways. After this, I laid in my bed for 10 minutes in the dark because I was like, there's no way that all of this just happened in the span of like an hour. After I just dropped off my first buddy and it going so well and so smooth with no problems whatsoever. But moral of the story, be content with yourself and don't let someone provoke you of an emotion because it can lead to a worse consequence. Luckily, I only kept it to where I only said shut the hell up to her. But that's my moral of the story. Don't be stupid. Don't try to fight because it's not going to help you at the end of the day. But I hope you enjoyed the story time. And again, there is more of these. And I also make other variety of videos if you want those too. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Good night and goodbye.
Hey, you're not going the right way. This isn't a concert, you know. You can go forward, you know.